What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, me going over team composition guide and letting you guys know how you should be building your teams, going about your sub slot characters, your main slot characters, and kind of making teams synergize together well, so you can build a very comprehensive team. So let's hop into the video. Before we actually hop into the video, make sure to subscribe to your boy Amazing. We are on the road to 35,000 subscribers. Guys, it's the new year, man. New year, new me. In 2023 here, we're going to be going crazy with the subs, man. So if you guys have not subscribed already, definitely make sure to subscribe. And with that out of the way, let's hop in and go over how you should be building your teams. Alright, guys, so I have a bunch of teams here on my global that I just slot in, and a lot of them have a reason why I built them in the way they do. So first one here, just as an example, will be my goddess team. So this one was actually used on the last final boss we had. It was fairly recent. I think it was the final boss brothers on global, but basically, the way this team worked, and if you guys don't know, what I was trying to go for with this team is that we were going for a goddess race composition here. And as you guys can see, we have Tarmiel, which is goddess, we have Margaret, which is goddess, Sariel, which is goddess, and then Elizabeth in the backline, which is also a goddess race character. So if we actually go to Tarmiel here and we actually go to his passive, Tarmiel is going to be increasing all allies' basic stats by 6% every time the hero recovers HP with his own grace up to 5 times. So automatically that's okay, that's really good, okay? And then we go to Margaret on the team, right? Margaret is going to be the character on the team that really just puts this team together and really makes it a goddess team, right? Because if we go to her passive, increases goddess allies basic stats by 8% every time an ally uses a stance or buff skill. And as you guys can see, Margaret has a buff skill herself. Tarmiel also has a buff skill himself. So both of those characters synergize really, really well together, right? So Tarmiel and Margaret automatically, because the Tarmiel is increasing all allies basic stats regardless of the race, right? But Margaret is saying that basic stat increase by 8% for goddess race allies every time they use a stance or a buff skill, and it goes for the whole team. And then we go to Sariel, right? Sariel is the next character we go over, and he's actually going to increase goddess allies basic stats as well, but by the value of equal to 20% of Sariel's basic stats. So as you guys can see, a lot of the passes here for this team are synergized around buffing goddess allies basic stats. And so that is what this team is basically centered around doing, is increasing the basic stats as much as possible, getting as tanky as it can, and just dealing a lot of damage because of it. And so a team like this where we have instead of this Elizabeth, usually on Guild Boss I'll run like this, right? We run Light Liz, because Light Liz puts the team completely together by also increasing every time one of the applicable allies, which can be either an Archangel or a 7 Deadly Sins, uses a skill. It increases their basic stats by 4%. See, so another basic stat increase, stacking up to 6 times. Right, so another 6 times 4, which is going to be 20% basic stats, right? Or 24%, right? So yeah, it's a big increase right there. So on top of all of the other basic stats we're getting. So that is how mainly I go off making team compositions. What works from the front, what works from the back. Sariel, I don't know if he works from the back. I don't think he does, actually. So having him in the back is kind of just a waste, yeah, because he doesn't give from the back line for his passive. But just in general, if we were running this, the way I had it before with the red SR Elizabeth, this is actually a good idea, because this red SR Elizabeth actually does benefit the team by, if we go to her passive and her Holy Relic, so her Holy Relic automatically 15% HP related stats, right? And you can tell that it works active even in the sub slot. So if you hold down on this little icon right here and you see the little blue hand, that's how you know it's active even in the sub slot. And so that means that the characters on the main slots get the increased HP related stats by 15%. That is how you can get a sub slot characters, because you can see active in the sub slot, and you can see that it works. So all allies heal 10% of max HP at the start of the turn when taking damage, and then the 15% HP related stats. So that's the main idea on how you should be building a team, guys. You go for what synergizes well, and then how it actually can benefit from the backline as well. Let's do another example. So another example here, it's not the greatest example, but it works. So, you know, Green Gowther, the One Ultimate, Tarmiel, Ragnarok Bond. So the way this team works, mainly a PvE team. I don't know why I have Guild Boss there, but it's mainly just like a PvE clear team. But Escanor, he's on attack crit damage, and as you guys know, Escanor is trying to deal as much damage as possible. You know, he's increasing his damage dealt by 15% for using his skill up to 4 times. He's increasing his all stats by 4% every single turn. So he's just trying to deal a ton of damage. His cards obviously scale fairly well on his attack, and as you can see, like even his overpower card here, when he's lower on HP, does a lot of damage. So what you want to do, you know, putting a character like Green Gowther, if you guys don't know what Green Gowther does, he's actually going to increase attack-related stats by 7% at the start of the ally's turn if allies in the battle are all of different races. If we go to the team right here, Tarmiel is a goddess, Gowther is an unknown race, and Escanor is a human. So boom, automatically we get the 7% attack-related stats every single turn. And another thing about Gowther is that we have rank up. So Escanor can deal more damage because we're ranking up his skills to deal more damage. Right, so that's automatically like another thing that plays into this team right here. And then, you know, I didn't explain it earlier, but Tarmiel's buff card actually does increase attack ability, and it goes for the whole team, so the whole team does get the attack up. You don't necessarily have to run Tarmiel in this slot. Like, this is just an example, right? Like, if I had Margaret in this slot, that would work too. Damage dealt, damage reduction. If I had, like, you know, I don't even know. It doesn't even matter. It really doesn't. Like, you could legit put anyone. King for damage dealt, damage reduction. You could put, you know, Light Liz if you want to get basic stats every time you use a skill. So it really doesn't matter. But this is just an example, guys. So like, you know, Margaret, let's say damage dealt, damage reduction. She's a buff card. She has a buff card, and then this is gonna be because it only applies. Gowther's passive only applies for the characters on the main slot. The sub slot does not matter in terms of the Gowther stacks. So attack related ability is going to be increasing by 7% every turn up to 35%. Margaret's going to be increasing the damage dealt, damage reduction when she does her buff card. Escanor is going to be dealing a ton of damage, and then our sub slot character, if we go to Bond, just like the Elizabeth we looked at earlier, if we actually look at his unique display info, it actually does say active even in the sub slot, and this is going to increase all allies attack related stats by 10% and decrease all enemies pierce rate, crit chance, and crit damage by 15%. So that's basically how you go about building a team, guys. You want to basically synergize the team really well. Try and increase the stat that the character you're trying to build for is increasing. So, you know, with Escanor here, we want to do as much damage as possible. So any attack related increases we're going to be going for. Attack related from Gowther, attack related from Bond, damage dealt from Margaret, that also counts as well. And so Escanor is just going to be dealing a ton of damage, right? Let's do one more example here. Let's go to PvP. Let's do a PvP example as well. Right here, so let's say Demon Team, okay? Demon Team. So let's say this is new Melee. I could actually show this on my JP. Maybe it'll be a little bit better. Let's go to my JP and I'll show you guys. Demon Team, okay? So if we go to set team here, let's see. PvP. Perfect. So set team right here. Demon Team. You know, Purgatory Meliodas, Ominous Nebula Zeldris, Demon Chandler, and Estarossa. So I can't show you guys the passive for Demon Melee or Purgatory Melee. I guess I could pull it up on GC Database to show you what I mean. But you know, because I'm on JP, I can't translate. So I'll pull it up on GC Database here, and we'll move it onto the screen. All right. So here's Purgatory Meliodas. If we look at his passive here, the first thing we can notice is that right here, so the Bonds of Purgatory decreases damage received by demon race allies by 20%. Automatically something that you would be like, okay, let me run this Meliodas on a demon team. So we don't even have to look at the rest of Melee's passive. Just by seeing the Bonds of Purgatory, we're like, okay, this is automatically a demon race character. Let me zoom out and let me move it back onto my main screen here. So Ominous Nebula Zeldris, we already know if we go on my global account here, we can actually check Ominous Nebula Zeldris' passive without having to, you know, go on GC Database. But in PvP, for every applicable ally, which is either a demon or commandment, on the battlefield, increase those attack-related stats by 4% and decrease all enemies' attack by 6%. And this also can work in the subslot, right? But we're not running Zeldris in the subslot, but this can work in the subslot. Okay, and then we go to, you know, Cusack, which Cusack or Chandler, right? It doesn't matter. Like, I could put Chandler here. Let's just do Chandler for the example, because on my JP, I had Chandler, right? So Chandler, he's going to be increasing, if we go to his passive, increases all allies' pierce rate by 40%. If all allies participating in the battle are applicable heroes, which is demons or heroes with commandments, you know, increases damage dealt by 10%, max of 30% for each debuff on the enemy, right? And if we go to my JP account, what do I have on Sariel? I have Green Sariel Link, so that we apply debuffs on the enemy, and so that Chandler's passive can be completely fulfilled, right? And then, you know, Melee obviously benefiting, because if we go back to Melee, right, let me zoom back in. If we go back to Melee, his second card here, additional damage equal to 50% of the hero's pierce rate, and Chandler's increasing additional damage by 40%. right? So that's where, like, guys, you gotta kind of, like, you know, think about it together, right? Pure Straight ×2 on his single target. Melee is really benefiting a lot from this, right? He really is. And then Estarossa, which is the main character on Demon Team, if we go to Estarossa, this is really just gonna solidify the whole team together, right? Because if we go to his passive here, if an ally is a demon or a hero with a commandment, inflicts damage on the enemy, applies darkness on the target, and darkness is going to be damage taken plus 10% and can be stacked up to 5 times, right? So they take 10% more damage, and then also for every, look right here, so increase allies basic stats by 5% for every darkness or encroach effect on the enemy, up to 10 times. So you have 50% basic stats on the whole team, and you're applying, you know, damage taken debuffs right there, so they take more damage in general. So that is how you guys should be building teams, man. Team composition guide. You know, make sure you have characters like Chandler in the backline that do support, you know, demons, as you can see, you know, active in the sub slot. You have to make sure that your sub slot character is benefiting your 3 main characters on field, and you have to make sure that all the characters on your team synergize together for the role they're trying to do. So that is basically how you go about doing team composition, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Was this video helpful? Did you guys learn anything from this? I hope it was helpful, and I hope you guys enjoyed. So that's going to be it, and I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Peace out, and have a good rest of your day.